Hey guys, long time no see. Welcome back to the channel for another unboxing. Today we have got ourselves the AEW Unrivaled Series 6 Hikaru Shida. This figure, so a lot of you may or may not know, I'm not sure if you do or not, but her ring gear is somewhat inspired by Tifa, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's a real early morning, by Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, which is hands down one of my favorite games of all time. So I really love the design of her ring gear for this figure. Really, her ring gear in general is usually pretty cool. So I really do like the aesthetic on this figure. So jumping into it, like I said, this is from AEW Unrivaled Series 6. The strange thing about this is I found this one, along with a few others from the same set, out in the wild at the Targets in the area. And what I find strangest about that is that it's almost as if they completely skipped putting Series 5 in the stores, which, as some of you may know, is the set that has the Jungle Boy, the Luchasaurus, SCU, and Moxley and Hangman in it. So I'm a little confused by that, because Series 4 was pretty plentiful. I found those pretty often in the wild lately. But Series 5 was absolutely just nowhere to be seen, and yet here Series 6 is, and it's already hitting local Target shelves. And I've also heard that some of the unmatched stuff is starting to hit the shelves as well, which I find very odd. But still no Series 5. So hopefully, we can maybe find out what's going on with the distribution on that. I mean, who knows what the deal is. But kind of bummed by that, because it would have been kind of cool to find a Jungle Boy or a Luchasaurus out in the wild. Because out of the whole set, obviously, those are probably the two hot ones. And I wouldn't mind having the Hangman either, but that's neither here nor there. So first, let's go ahead and look at the package on this one. Kind of go over that real quick, and then we'll open her up and check her out. So, typical AEW Unrivaled packaging with the black and gold, which is very reminiscent of the Jakks Classic Superstars packaging, which I've always been a huge fan of. Look there on the front. Figure looks very clean. Love the design of it. Definitely better than the Riho, so that's a plus right there. Of course, there on the side, see a little picture of her with the set number. And then on the back, you got a nice little shot of her, as well as some of the other figures from the set. I'll leave that there for a second so you can pause it, reading the stuff that's on there. Alright, but very cool figure. Like I said, I was very lukewarm on the Riho. I didn't like the face design at all. That was obviously the biggest complaint with it, which is also why I found it very odd that they were saying, oh, well, we fixed the face design for the Chase. Well, that's cool, but who's going to find the Chase? Because those things were practically unicorns at this point. So let's go ahead and open it up. And also, I will say that the Pentagon and the Phoenix from this set also look incredible. The MJF is kind of a pass because it's not much different than the other one. I mean, granted, it's a nice chance to get MJF if you missed it the first time around. So, I mean, I've got no complaints with him being in the set again. But it's going to be a no-go for me on him. I'm going to pass. And probably going to be the same with the Jericho as well. I already have the bit of the bubbly Jericho as well as the Series 1 Jericho still on card. So I think I'm alright in the Jericho department. May get Jake Hager, who knows? I'm not sure. From what I've seen pictures of with the Jake Hager, I'm also a little lukewarm on the look of him as well. So here's Shida out of the box. Got the women's title. I wish they would have made it the slightly bigger one. That would have been okay, but who knows? It may have just been one of those things where they already had the designs and production stuff in plan before they decided to make that belt slightly bigger. So, it is what it is. Okay, so we got her out. I do like how they had her posed in the package. I do like that. That's pretty cool. And that's something else I do like is whenever, it's not even just Jazzwares, obviously, but even Mattel does it sometimes too, is when they have the figures posed a certain way in the package. That's really cool for people who are mint card collectors because it really does give that figure a little extra oomph when it comes to being displayed on card. So I do really appreciate that little, that teeny tiny little detail right there, is having them posed a little differently. And boy, they got this rubber band really tied up around her. mean, I get it trying to hold that belt on, but oof. I was going to rip her arm off trying to get it off. All right, so she's got the soft rubber goods for her skirt slash, overall straps. I'm trying to figure out how to get this off because if you look right there, she's got the plastic around her waist, which I'm not mad at. Anything, I'm very appreciative of the fact that Jazzwares is being very proactive in trying to keep the plastic over the figures. That way, the soft goods, don't have as much of a chance of staining them. I've heard Jake Hager is having some issues with that, where it's still getting on the shoulders. I'm sure that'll be something that's kind of a running change. And speaking of running changes, if you are looking for the Sammy Guevara figure with the corrected signs, it is not hard to find, actually, because the original one just said "Hit Me Up," and pretty much if the sign you could see through the front of the box said "Hit Me Up," that was more likely going to be the one that's got 6 or 7 of that same sign. However, the one that's corrected, the sign that's up front in the package, you can see right through the window on it, actually says something like, "We are the inner circle," or something like that. So if you see that one, that's the corrected one. If it says "Hit Me Up," that's the error. So just a little bit of a little heads up on that. So we got her out of the package. First glance, great figure. The face scan on this thing is a hell of a lot better than Shida. Absolutely, substantially better than Shida. I love the attention to the color detail on the hair. A little purple on the tips, very cool. The color on the ring gear, the paint is very smooth. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer here for you guys. The arms feel a little bit loose compared to what I'm used to. I'm not sure if that's just the overall design of the female figure because it has the thinner limbs. But still, the elbows aren't too bad. The elbow's a little stiffer, so it may compensate a little bit. The rubber soft goods, I really enjoy the rubber soft goods they put on these figures now. It's outstanding. It's definitely a lot better than those really just rock hard, ring gear pieces that they had like on the Series 1 stuff. Again, like I said, her gear is very inspired by Tifa from Final Fantasy, which I really enjoy. Especially all the way down to the detail on the gloves, the wrapping around the hands. Like I said, and the face scan on this thing is awesome. That Riho is atrocious. I'm still big thumbs down on that figure. I'll never have it in my collection because I just think it's hideous. Unfortunately, I hate to dump on Jazzwares like that, but it's not like it's an uncommon opinion. That figure, except for the Chase had a much better face scan. But that basic version of the figure was big oof. All right, so let's check out the joints on her, see how those feel. All right, knees, pretty good. Feet, not bad. I do like also the attention to detail on the shoes, where she's kind of got, the separation of the toe there. Really like that. They probably could have just glossed over that and just gave her some standard boots or something like that, but they made sure to actually kind of get that weird separation in the toes there, which would have probably required some kind of special mold just for that. So that's really cool. The hips move very nicely. She does not have the painted joints on the inside, or rather the lack of. Everything's proper there, because I know that has been an issue with some of the figures as well, was the ball joints in there were either not painted or unpainted, and it just kind of looked weird on the figure. So that's kind of a thing. Now let's go ahead and look at this belt. Like I said, this is still the smaller version of the belt, which I've not been a fan of. Now, something I'm noticing right away is the strap is not completely straight. If you look at it, it's at a curve, like it kind of curves down, up, and then up. Like an S, like a really flat S almost. Like if you wanted the actual oval in the middle for the plate to be straight, that's where your straps are going to be. If you have it straight, you can see that curvature right there. That's very weird. I don't understand that at all. Okay, so that's, wow. That is very odd. Odd choice. Obviously, it may just be a subject of just how it was manufactured. Maybe there's a way you can possibly heat it up and I don't know. That looks like it's permanent. Okay, I'm going to have to investigate on that a little bit further. So that's definitely a bit of a miss for me. I was really hoping I wouldn't run into any issues like that, but wow, look at that, guys. That's rough. Ugh. Well, let's see how it fits on her. I know that typically most people will just probably keep it on her shoulder, but I would like, I mean, I don't know, if I'm weird, I really do. Unless it's a wrestler who's notorious for having their belt put over their shoulder, I really do like having the belts put around the waist. I just think it's a great classic aesthetic for the titles. So I'm going to attempt to get this one on. And man, that curvature on it's actually making it very hard to get the buttons in on the belt. So man, I am really bummed about this, guys. Like that's wow, I don't know. I may have to my son has the Rio, so I may have to check that one out and see if the belt width is any better. If so, me and him may do a little trade ski because he doesn't do much with his women's title. And obviously I'd like to have a better display one for sure. Yeah, this thing is not, that curvature is really making it weird. Even with the pin to try to use to push them on through, it is not working very well. Okay, well, I got one button in. One, that's it, out of the four. So, let's get the belt on. Let's get her arms kind of lined up here a little bit more. Okay, so with the belt on, it's not bad. Honestly, it looks a little odd unless you ever posed. I kind of need to find a kendo stick accessory. I will say that. I'm a little let down that that feels like a really missed opportunity to not put a kendo stick with her. She's very synonymous with that, and I feel like if you would have had that with her, you could have posed it with her some way, somehow. So, if you have any leads on a kendo stick accessory, holler at your boy. I mean, I'm sure I can probably track one down. I know enough people. But yeah, overall though, I'd probably give this figure about a 7 out of 10. The overall design and look of the figure is great. But what's really going to knock the score down and really knock down the rating in general is going to be this molding issue on the belt and the curvature to it, as well as no kendo stick. I really do feel like that's a giant missed opportunity. But overall, pretty solid figure. And if you're going to buy any of the AEW women's figures, definitely get this one. It's still a great looking figure. I think it'll look great in the display, and it'll look awesome next to that Britt Baker when I finally get it, because that's going to happen for sure, because DMD. All right, guys, well, let's go and do it for this video for Hikaru Shida from the AEW Unrivaled Series 6 line. Remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, give it a big old thumbs up, leave a comment if you like. I do try to stay pretty involved and respond to you guys when you do comment on the videos. And also remember to follow me over at Instagram at CollectingRaj. And for you that are not aware yet, I have started a podcast. It is the Collecting Raj podcast. So it's labeled under the same name as the YouTube and the Instagram. So go over there, check that out. It's a general conversation podcast regarding news of the week, reviews on wrestling shows, my weekly purchases, things I will be shooting in videos coming up, as well as things I've already shot, just to kind of general conversation about it, as well as upcoming news and releases, and just things going on in general in the collecting world. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much, and as always, have yourself an awesome weekend.